an actual operation
Okay.
where someone is caught, and then fast forward 3 years to their parole hearing. Watch it, and we can just do commentary on it if that's something that you think would be cool.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. And then while we have, so there's, I don't know if you saw it. I happen to have played this catch. It's from Connecticut. It's from a small group. I tried finding them and reaching out to them, but they disappeared. They made like 3 catches, and then they fell off the face of the earth. But I played it on my channel a few months ago. The YouTube algorithm did its thing, so only like 5% of my subscribers saw it. So I think it's okay to watch it again. We can either watch the whole catch, which is like 20 minutes long, or we can just watch summaries of the catch.
Well, is it police are like police involved in it? Because we don't want YouTube to go nuke the channel for not having police involved in the catch.
Yeah, that is a scary. Police do show up at the end, and there is arrest made on screen. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's what we should do is we should show the arrest first, so YouTube like registers it as like police involved, and then we'll watch the catch.
All right, that's cool. And yeah, well, that's what we can do. And you're probably gonna like cringe up because they're super amateurs. Like they've only done maybe 3 catches. They're doing all the wrong things. So you're probably gonna be like, so let's see as people walk in. I saw a lot of the Mandoo fam are big fans of you.
Well, yeah, we appreciate it, y'all, truly.
And I saw you just came back from a serious like string of catches. You've been gone for the past how long? Like,
oh yeah, so we started this trip September 8th, and we just got home yesterday. We drove all night from Minnesota after getting 2 people that day, and yeah, we got arrests all the way as south as Florida, as north as Minnesota, all in the last 2.5 weeks. So it's been a crazy, but a lot of sick people are off the streets and more to come. So we appreciate everybody who made that possible.
And I have a question, because I've been watching your stuff, and it seems that you consistently rent the smallest car available every time. Is that on purpose?
No. So we actually drive now a Toyota Sienna, which is a decent size minivan. But I'm 6'4", 320 pounds, and my camera guys are like fat little churro balls. So I mean, we all look pretty big in the car, even though it's a decently sized car.
Oh, is it a C? I thought it was in a smaller car.
Well, I guess we used to have a CRV.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all right. So the minivan works though. That's a good.
Oh, it's the best car ever. 30 mpg, with good legroom. You can't beat it, and it's Toyota too. So
it will keep on going and going. So let's pull up. I'm gonna share my screen here, and we'll start with the police. I'm going to take the professional's advice. And then so I'll start with the police, and then you want to go through from the beginning of the whole arrest?
Yeah. We should just like show the police first, so YouTube just registers it as like cops are involved, so they don't like nuke any of our channels.
Okay. All right, let's do that. I don't want to get nuked. Hey, thanks Alex for the 10 memberships.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So, ready? Is everyone ready to rock and roll? Let's go. This is out of the state of Connecticut. So what we're going to do again is we're going to watch this really no-name team that did a catch. They had a YouTube channel. They did like 3 catches and then fell off the face of the earth. I reached out to like my local catcher family in the East Coast. No one knew who they were. They really did fall off. This was an early catch. There's going to be a lot of things that Alex, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to pick out that they're doing wrong. We're not watching this for the idea that they're good catchers or anything like that. But the idea, though, they did catch someone. There was an arrest. And then we're going to watch the parole hearing of this man. So that's kind of like the whole thing. And we're going to talk about it as we go. Let's start with the police so we don't get nuked.
Yeah. And then I was going to say, we got to catch them all.
And also, the thing for me, so we're kind of taking this slow, so we're making sure we're doing it right.
Yeah, we're trying to get this actually more exposed.
Yeah, absolutely.
People are not doing enough about this kind of stuff.
Take his phone. We're asking them to look at his truck. Kind of ask him, hey, is there anything in here that we need to know about? Good days, et cetera, et cetera.
I think he has condoms. I'm not sure, but I'm right.
So
yeah, I asked him. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he has condoms. So
do you have that recorded too?
I think so. Yeah, I gotta check again real quick.
We sent him.
We sent every. Yeah.
All right. So the cops said they're gonna read him his Miranda rights. They're gonna take his phone, and they said they believe they do have enough evidence to search his truck and check for other.
Is that enough? We can jump to the beginning. Or?
Yeah, it's probably fine.
All right. And I'll just read. Edward gave a big $10. So thank you both for what you do, Alex. Your interview skills are A+, so good. And thank you, Casey, Kat, and Alex, both for 10 memberships. So let's jump into the beginning.
Aware of what we do.
Yep, he's here to meet a 15-year-old boy. Trust me, you don't want to listen to anything this man.
Oh, they already called the cops.
We told them off the rip we were 15. What up, guys? We on our way to our second catch, 19 minutes out.
Dude, this one has been the nastiest, I think,
he's
of them all.
nasty.
Really
Nasty. I'm gonna have a field day with him.
Honestly, just texting him like,
Yeah, bro, it's just cringe. It's like the stuff he says and just
we're gonna
Oh man, here, pause it real quick.
put the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah.
So
I remember back in the day when we thought that a guy meeting a 15-year-old with graphic messages was the nastiest thing we've ever seen. Good old days when we were innocents ourselves.
I know. Exactly.
What is he? He is. It says on the app he's 45 years old.
So the guy that we're going to, he's actually at a truck stop. I guess he can't drive anymore. He's from Maine, so he's in a whole other state. Trying to meet up with this 15-year-old 15-year-old boy. He's about 42, 45. I forgot his age. You know, nasty. He's talked so dirty, said the nastiest shit. He's like one of the worst guys we've seen so far. Guys, keep an eye out on your kids. Make sure you watch their tablets and their phones. Make sure you know what they're doing, because there is people out here on video games, on these dating apps, social media. You never know who's in your kid's inbox.
It doesn't matter what age. They call it all forms, all ages,
All shapes and sizes.
all shapes and sizes. So you guys gotta watch out. Alright, we gotta be aware, bro.
Is he walking over here? You told him I'm in a black car?
Yeah. Sean. Hey, Sean. How are you? Long time no see.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Yourself?
All right.
Just hanging out, dude.
So what are you here to do, Sean? If you talk, we're not here to hurt you.
We're not the police.
We're not police. We're just talk to us, and we won't call the cops. I just want to know what goes through your head to want to meet a 15-year-old boy.
Just gonna hang out.
No,
Just hang out.
You said so much more things than just hang out.
We have everything, written down.
I have your picture. I have everything documented. We were not. Sean, why did you want to take the 15-year-old boy?
All right, if you walk away, we're gonna call the cops.
Why'd you want to
And
take
you
a 15-year-old boy on the road for 2 weeks? He's here to meet a 15-year-old boy, everybody.
Wait. We'll start screaming and embarrass you if you do that.
Meet a 15-year-old boy. You wanted to take him on the road for 2 weeks. Keep your children away from him. So, Sean. Everybody, Sean's here to meet a 15-year-old boy. I don't think you want him in your store.
All right.
This is not harassment.
It's not harassment.
Oh, gosh.
Well, you want to call the cops and let's see what happens? Why are you not saying anything to that? Let's call the cops and let's see. Where are you going, Sean? This is not harassment. Let's call the cops and let's see what happens.
If you don't talk
The
to
cops-
him, I'm gonna embarrass you.
The cops are very aware. Make sure you don't move your hands anywhere.
Keep
So
your hands out your pocket. He's here to meet a 15-year-old.
he's here to meet a 15-year-old boy.
I got the
Cops are very aware of what we do.
Yep, he's here to meet a 15-year-old boy. Trust me, you don't want to listen to anything this man says.
What was that about? Bringing a jock strap, wearing a job tag,
You
and
want to call the cops? Call the cops. Then.
call the
You want me to
cops.
Call the cops. Tell him.
Are you sure about that?
Come on, tell him to call the cops.
You don't have the alcohol in place.
But they have.
I have the right to record you.
them. I can't stop them.
Do you want us to leave? Do you want us to leave the store, or is it okay? All right.
Me,
See?
But at the same time, I don't.
Come on,
Yeah.
you just gotta talk to us, bro.
You just gotta talk to
What
us.
goes through your head
And we will leave you alone after
that
that.
you wanna meet
Just a couple of
15-year-old
questions, and
boy.
that's it.
talk to her. She's my manager.
Ask him, does he want to call the cops?
Here, pause
I
it.
just want you to leave me alone.
Why are you
That's
here to
all I
meet a
want you to do.
15-year-old boy?
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, you know, since he did end up getting arrested, you know, that parole hearing, I would hope, 'cause, you know, we haven't seen the parole hearing yet, or at least I haven't. I would hope on parole they would just see how unremorseful this guy is about any of his actions, at least. You know what I'm saying? That could be the benefit of them doing it like that. But obviously, a lot of jurisdictions would tell us to kick rocks if we were to kind of confront the pedo like that. But I mean, obviously, the messages seem to be bad enough to where he could get arrested. But you know, not a lot of these pedos are going to talk if you just kind of start saying, "What are you here to do?" Starting, you know, I try to avoid using the word "you" when I talk to these people. Like even when I'm reading the messages, like I don't say "you said this." I'm like, it says on your end, or you know, I'm like, what did oh wow, what did the kid say to you, or what was the kid trying to say, and stuff like that. And but you know, obviously it's their second catch, so it's not like, you know, they're supposed to know all this or be like that, but you know, just for reference.
Oh no, absolutely. I've noticed you are a master of the vocabulary, and I've been in a marriage long enough to learn that you should master not pointing the finger, not saying use, not using those kind of words if you just want to have a good, meaningful outcome in the conversation. Otherwise, people get defensive.
Yes, word choice is essential to emotional roller coasters, whether they're predators or wives or something like that. You gotta always choose the right words.
Exactly. You're gonna be good at staying in that kind of relationship. So
Yes.
but yeah, there's a lot of things that are cringe, I felt like, in this, and it kind of gets, you know, but like you said, it's their second catch.
Right.
They're learning. And thank you, Jesse, buddy, for giving 5 gifted memberships. One of the earliest subs. He was like number 200 or something for my channel. It's been here since the beginning.
Nice.
So shout out to Jesse. All right.
We just want to ask you a couple questions. That's it.
Stop recording.
We have the right to record.
And I
It's
have
for
the
our
right-
safety and your
I have the
safety.
right to ask you to stop recording.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you
We
don't.
can record you.
I also
This is not. You're not my first catch, bro.
We've done this
I
before.
don't hear-
I do this. And if you put your hands in your pockets, I will defend myself.
I'm not gonna-
I'm just telling you.
I
We're just letting you know.
Okay, so keep your distance and talk to me. So if you don't want me to
We just gotta talk. We're not here to hurt you.
Okay, so can we talk like grown
Can we
men?
talk like grown men?
All right, so let's go down here and talk. All right, let's go down here.
We didn't even have to do all of that.
Yeah, I didn't have to do all that.
But
if
since you wanted to run away,
I gotta
I'm
make
not
a
just
scene.
trying to run away. I'm
Well,
trying to
you-
get into a private location.
Well, you should have told me that, Sean. So I don't have
Well,
to
I'm
make.
sorry, okay?
I don't have to make a scene. I told her not to call the cops. I don't want you arrested. I just want to know.
well, I do. We do
Yeah,
want you arrested. I want you arrested.
But the cops
We
don't
actually-
really do shit about guys like you.
We actually want the death penalty for you,
Exactly.
for people like you, not you, but for people like you that want to do things to younger kids, 15-year-olds. I don't understand. You know, up their head, right?
You know, kids get.
All right, this is pretty good right here. This is pretty good.
Come on, let's go
Let's go.
No, this is pretty good right here. We don't.
I don't want to block the entrance way
Yeah,
to
but
the
what is
shop.
it? Come down here.
All right.
You just can't get next year.
My truck's not open.
All right, I just don't want you going in the truck. I don't know what you have in the truck.
My truck is in a different location.
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
All right, so
We will escort you to your truck after, though.
let's not.
Nothing. You know what? It's okay. Go ahead.
What you said.
What did you say?
I said we're gonna escort you to your truck anyway. So
You're not.
okay. All right. We'll see about that.
Well, I have no.
All right, we'll rather not-
A lot of people heard what happened. I don't
I
want
would
nobody.
still-
To,
I would
I don't want
still-
nobody to hurt you.
I
So-
can take care of myself.
All
I
right.
appreciate your concern.
See
but I
about
can
that.
take
Okay.
care of
All right.
myself.
Just ask me the questions.
So, why did you want to take the 15-year-old boy on the road for 2 weeks? Do you really think a 15-year-old child's parents will let him do that?
I thought you would just want to go for a ride, see the
But,
countryside.
all right, that's not a right. That's 2 weeks.
Well, unfortunately, the way my company works, I'm out anywhere
Is that
from 1 to
yours?
2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, you know that would never happen.
Right.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting.
All right. You said. I don't mind
I know
a
what I
little
said.
sweat. You may taste salty. Maybe one day you can join me on the road for a week or two. You're talking to me, by the way. This is all me. You're talking to There's no 15-year-old boy.
So we know everything you said.
You would sleep in the same bed as me, naked.
Come on.
So a 15-year-old boy.
Sleep naked in the same bed as the boy.
I was actually just joking around. I know you don't.
You
believe
don't
me.
joke with
I
stuff
know
like
you
that.
don't believe me, but I was.
So why are you here to meet him if you were joking? That makes no sense. All right, if I was telling you this story, would you believe it? Would you believe me? So what makes you think I would believe you? Come on. Yo, we're both men. Can we just talk? And
Do you need
have a
help?
honest conversation?
Do you need help?
This is what I do, right? I want to know what goes through your head when you say yes to meet a child. Like, are you attracted to children?
Technically, legal age, 18 out.
No, but this is not illegal.
I understand.
So what made you attracted to this specific boy that was 15?
I honestly don't know.
But you
I
got a
actually
reason.
thought it at the time.
How you doing, sir?
At the time, thought it was legal age till 15, and I just went with it.
Sorry, say that louder.
But you can't just go with it, Charles.
I know that was a foolish mistake, one I regret.
We do this so you would never, and probably after this, I don't know how your head is, but you're probably not going to want to meet no more kids.
As long as they're 18 and above, and verified.
How old are you, Sean?
I don't need to answer that.
You don't need to lie to us. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out.
Once I put this online, people are gonna know you.
You are gonna know. We're gonna post it in the
45.
Okay, 45.
So
Okay.
even 18, do you think that's all right?
Legal age.
It's legal, but you think it's okay to hook up with an 18-year-old?
As long as it's legal age, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
I think
All right.
That's
that sick mind.
Okay, by the law, but it makes
You're
no
positive?
sense. Can you find somebody?
Yeah.
I mean, even despite the way they were talking to him, it seems like he was about to like actually start admitting to some stuff and talk himself into some stupid stuff. But I mean, again, it's their second catch, so I'm not crapping on them. But a lot of these catchers feel the need to talk about themselves a lot. Like, by the way, you're number 892, and I have this many arrests in this many states. Like, if you just go on a monologue about how good you are or about how good you think you are, the pedo isn't going to want to be on that list. So he's naturally just going to shut up. And in this case, they just kind of shut him up for him. And then another thing too is, you never want to play the moral police when you're talking to an immoral person. Like, saying, man, you like 18-year-olds, that's so sick, to a predator who's already there to meet somebody 3 years younger. I mean, that is not the best way to get him to trust you, Like, if he was meeting a 15-year-old, I'd be like, look, man, this isn't something severe like a 10-year-old or an 11-year-old. I mean, come on. I understand the boy was supposed to show up here. And I'm sure this guy would have just spilled his guts about that and probably given me a sob story about how the kid needs a mentor or something like that. And then, then eventually he's like, all right, well, I would have done it if you wanted to. I mean, that's what I'm anticipating with this guy. I mean, this guy seems pretty forthcoming despite having two people in his face screaming at him.
Yeah, you're on the money. And really, after I've watched a bunch of different catchers, and many of them have this approach. And when I randomly found your channel, your approach, I enjoy it because you're the exact opposite of this. You're not mean, even. You're not intrusive. You allow them to say everything. You're a really good listener, interviewer, and you have your classic lines that are hilarious and the fried pickles and the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
And that's the way it should be done. There's no reason to be mean. There's no reason to say the death penalty. There's no reason to say all that stuff, right?
Right. Because, and the meanest thing to do to them is to shut up and let them talk, because that means that they're going to suffer probably the biggest penalty. And believe me, when the cops show up, and at that point my job's done, their phone's taken. I mean, that's when it's time to, make fun of them and shit on them and just be like, go F yourself. But yeah, right now, definitely is not the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you needed to dig a really big hole and he's sitting there digging the hole with the shovel. I mean, why would you take the shovel away from him?
Yeah.
it's
shovel bad.
Yeah, exactly. It defeats the purpose. And for anyone jumping in, we're about halfway through this catch. When it's over, we are going to fast forward about 2 years and watch his parole hearing. So that's what we're doing.
I can't wait. It's gonna be
amazing. And you're gonna see. You said something earlier, like the parole hearing. They should see this to see how kind of clueless he is, or what is. So many of them are the same way at the parole hearing, and that's what we're gonna see. And before I forget, thank you, Casey Cap, for the 20 memberships. And so I'm reading all your comments, y'all. Thank you for being here. Let's go.
Your own age. Yeah. So why don't you go for people your own age?
I'm going to, effective today.
You're gonna start going for people
effective today?
Okay. Has this catch kind of changed you a little bit?
Yes.
What has it changed?
that I'm going to ensure that they are my age or in my
Can you
age
speak a
bracket.
little louder? I just can't hear you. Double.
I'm going to make sure that they are of my age bracket,
Yep.
and that's it.
Okay.
Anyone under, if anything, would be a friendship and friendshipable.
But a friendship can't even do it. You
Yeah.
can't be friends with children. Do you have any kids?
No, I don't.
A nephew or niece?
Yeah.
How old are they?
I honestly don't.
You don't know?
I don't know.
All right, so what would you do if somebody came, let's say your niece was 15, and a 45-year-old man came to meet up with your 15-year-old niece?
I'd probably blow a gasket.
You're probably what?
Blow a gasket.
Load the gasket, right?
Exactly. So you understand where we're coming from, and you understand why you should not be doing this to children.
Yes.
It's wrong. And at the end of the day, it's nasty. There's nothing appealing about 15-year-old children. They're not even developed yet. This f***s with their heads so much. And then they grow up and the cycle continues. Because of people like you.
Do you want to do the full thing?
Do you
Call? Anybody close?
um
Who do you talk to more, mom or dad?
do you have a wife?
No.
Who do you live with?
I live with my parents.
Can you, if you don't want me to call the cops, pick up your phone and call your one of your parents and tell them what you're here to do. Or I will call the cops right now.
Unfortunately, my battery did die on me.
Your battery is not dead. You were just, let me see your phone.
Right there.
Turn it on.
It is on.
No, your phone's on. His phone's on. Call your mom. Call your mom. I will call the cops. And tell her what you're here to do. Let me see who you're calling. I just gotta make sure. Can you put your phone down a little bit?
Unfortunately, I need to be able to see it because the battery
Okay.
is
Well, he could.
I
He
wanna
just wants to make
you're
sure.
calling mom.
I am.
Okay. All right. Call mom. And tell her what you're here to do.
I was brain fart. Sorry about
Come on. It don't take that long to find mom's nonsense.
I can zoom in so I can see
No,
everything you're doing.
And
I
on
was
Mother's
dialing
Day,
the wrong
why
number
would you want to
myself.
give your mom this kind of call on
Mother's Day, man.
Come on.
Make sure you put it on speaker for us.
I can't put it on speaker.
You got to put it
I'll
on speaker.
talk to her.
All right. Well, hold on.
You talk to her, then I'll talk.
Hey, it's me. How are you? I know. Meet up with a young guy. that
How old?
drove around
I don't think he's talking to her.
Possibly,
I have a feeling he's not talking to her.
have sex.
He is?
Yeah.
Okay. Not by the PD, but by. So they're.
Oh, they already called the cops.
I don't really know.
How you doing? All right. What's up, man?
Something with him?
Basically, he messaged us first because we know
He never entrap. He always messages first.
He messaged us
we
first.
never message first.
we
Okay.
never messaged first. He messaged us first, and
And he always says the sexual stuff first. We never get
we never
sexual.
yeah we never get. We have all the call. We have all the logs.
That's what
He doesn't want. He wasn't trying to tell us.
He don't want to even bring me to the truck because I always try to get their plate and everything.
Yeah.
Because I turn this stuff into the local PD.
Okay. All right. Hang tight right here, guys.
For sure.
So the predator that we met here at the truck stop in Willington, I guess it is. The cops are talking to him right now. Cops got called. We'll see what happens. I think they're asking him for his ID right now.
Let's keep a distance, bro. All right, so I think he just went to the car to run his name.
Yeah.
So figure it out.
I'm going to beat your shit.
Huh?
You gotta keep the kids safe.
Gotta keep the kids safe, dude.
Yeah, man. He's here to meet a 15-year-old boy. Shame. We told him off the rip we were 15.
This is where it starts without it not being able to show his messages. Because you gotta get the Parole membership or whatever. I don't know, it's weird. But I have all those messages above. It won't show his messages, but I do have all those messages.
That's him. Can I see a picture of you and whatever you have on? Correction, you are 21 miles. Really, that sounds fun. That's him talking. So you're coming You're going to walk here, and then he said where he was. Yeah. Just hold it right here so you can read through it. I'm sorry for yelling at your store, but they tipped me off.
Yeah, too. I'm glad they got here.
Yeah. Thank you.
I just want to come down and say thank you for getting here so fast. I wasn't entirely sure what to do, but I figured as long as you guys got here, there'd be no fighting or.
Oh, we never touched them.
Yeah, we never
Yeah,
touched
no,
that.
I know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, but you never know what they would do.
Yeah.
Right?
I always tell them to keep their hands out their pockets because I told them I will defend myself, but
honestly, the other drivers kind of make me nervous because if they overheard something like that, they might try to get.
that's why I tell them I want to walk you to your truck and everything, and I try not to yell. I tell him if you want to talk to me, I'm not gonna make a scene.
Yeah.
But then he tries to run, and I have to make a scene.
Once I saw you guys follow him out the back door, that's when I called.
Yeah. No, it's okay. You did the right thing. I wanted you to call the cops.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
This is another one. I tell him I'm 15, turning 16 in July. Are you a police officer? No. Are you? No. Cool. Send me a picture. Bro.
Dude, you get calls like this?
Once in a while we'll get something. But it should be more often because these guys are doing
Everywhere.
this every day. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna try to. I think they're taking his phone for evidence.
They're taking his phone?
Yeah, because you can actually see all the combos on his phone. I told him if he deletes it, that's obstructing evidence.
Finding out how
Obstructing
two-way
evidence.
communication works for the first time.
What's that?
They're finding out how two-way communication works for the first time.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
like, if the message on my phone, I think also be on his phone too. Yeah, be on his phone too. Yeah,
it's a little cringe to watch, right? Like
it's okay. Their hearts are obviously the right place, I think.
right. Yeah, and they and we could just skip ahead. I think the catch is done if you want.
Yeah.
Move to, we got the drift of it, and you have the truck noise in the background and the whole thing. So yeah, do you have anything you want to say before we jump to the parole hearing, or?
Well, I mean, I'm glad this guy ended up getting prosecuted, and something tells me that like I'm just getting a feeling that they're probably going to let him out on parole for and no good reason. But I'm prepared to be disappointed. But unfortunately, you do showcase a lot of that, which is important to know how bad our legal system is in this country. So I'm ready for it, though.
Yeah, it is wild, and something that we've seen is that so much of it, like, I mean, you see it, and it depends on the state, depends where in the state, depends on, right, and you can get an arrest. Some DAs care, some don't. But then there's the whole other process that so many of us just don't see until now, which is, okay, well, once the judge hands down a sentence and they go to prison, what happens then? And so often, many of these sentences are just gimmicks.
Yeah.
They are. So when you hear someone gets in Utah, they hand out life sentences like candy. Really, anything is a life sentence, but parole eligibility after a year.
God, it's this guy that we caught, Trevor Sullivan. We caught him last year in September 2023, and he was actually he was in Texas, and he was advertising online that he was selling child porn, and he was about 4 hours away from us. So obviously, as private citizens, we can't just buy it from him. So we just offered, in person, we'll meet him up and buy it from him, buy it in cash from him. So I had him on the hidden camera. This channel, it's on the NVCAP YouTube channel, NVCAP. I had him on the hidden camera, basically saying, I have this and I'll sell it to you for $30. And then I just told him, hey man, this is what's going on. He ended up getting a 12-year sentence, which for a first offense isn't the worst for something like that, but parole eligibility after 1 year, which is fucking bullshit.
There you have it. And we cover 5 states: Utah, Louisiana, Connecticut, Illinois, Vermont, and 6 states, and Iowa. The most lenient state is one that most won't guess, and that's Iowa.
Yeah. When you told me that, I was definitely like, no way.
Yes, it is the most lenient. It's a joke. People on average serve, I think it's like 20% of their sentences. And they pretty much, if you have a pulse, can get released. So it's shocking. And I think you can really feel the heartbeat of a state and how they view crime, not by what the news tells you, but I think a good hack is to see what the parole boards do. It's interesting. I find it to be fascinating. And Illinois actually is one of the tougher states, which again is counterintuitive.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we're about to watch the Connecticut parole hearing of this man who was caught. And let's keep in mind everything he took programs. I think it's 2 years later. It might be 3 years later. Sir Richard, if you're in the chat, you can write the answer. I'll pin it. And thank you again, Kat, for another 20 memberships. One of the bigger supporters of the channel. Yeah, it means a lot. So let's, without further ado, right, let's jump in.
Oh my God.
Over the weekend, police say a group that aims to catch on the internet posed as a 15-year-old boy on a dating app. According to police documents, they had agreed to meet up with 45-year-old Sean Arnold at the Route 84 truck stop in Willington. Police spoke with Arnold on scene, who confirmed he was planning on meeting with the boy but did not intend to. Arnold appeared in Rockville Superior Court earlier today and is currently being held on a $100,000 bond.
Wow, a recent parole hearing. Holy crap.
There was, yeah. I thought I'd do some editing. There you go.
I'm surprised in Connecticut.
Sorry, what's your name?
They
Sean Arnold.
That they do what?
I'm surprised in Connecticut they handed down a multi-year sentence from like a civilian sting operation that quick, because we had a guy that kind of similar thing. He didn't end up meeting up, but the messages were there, and he only got like sex offender and probation. So I'm glad they kind of relatively threw the book at him at least.
I'm surprised as well, and I think it really comes down to, and I think you can get a sense of it from the parole hearing, what he probably did in the interrogation room, having no attorney and just being an open book.
Right.
But I'm totally surprised too. I mean, we see cases where the acts are actually done for a 10-year period and there's probation offered. So I was surprised too. I think what happens in the streets on states can also be different than again, it's confusing, but how these things are done. But I agree.
Okay, give me 1 second, please.
Yep.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Sean Arnold in May 436771. He is serving a sentence of 10 years jail, 3 years to serve, followed by 10 years of probation for attempted risk of injury and enticement minor by a computer. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of March 18th, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the following programs. Track 1, utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system. The offender's overall score falls within the low range of risk for recidivism. Sorry.
Okay.
By the way, I'll not to interrupt too often, but you can interrupt anytime you want. I know a lot of people are here to hear your input on this, so don't have a filter on it. But are you familiar with the low risk score, what they just said?
Yes, for sex offenders. I mean, if it's the same way as it is in Texas, I don't understand how that's even gauged or what, because they give low risk they give low risk scores to people who like molest like toddlers, and then
yes.
So I mean, there shouldn't be a low risk. I mean, I know it's cliche to say, like wood chipper this, all that, but there shouldn't be like a low risk score for a sex offender. I mean, we've caught people who, and I know the people are familiar. A lot of people are familiar with our channel, but the people that aren't, we've caught a guy in Iowa, funny enough, Mark Morgan, in April of this year, and he did 23 years in prison for raping a 9-year-old girl. And sure enough, as soon as he gets out, he messages our 11-year-old decoy account, and we approach him at his home where he admits to the messages and to possessing tons of child pornography. And that's after 23 years in prison. I mean, there's no stopping these people. The only way to stop them is by them ceasing to exist. I mean, even prison is just like a temporary barrier to just stop them. But, I call them like Energizer bunnies, because as soon as that's removed, they're just going to keep going and going and going. And we had another guy in Iowa too. I don't know if he got parole, but shit, talk about probation. He went to jail for 6 months for molesting his, I think, toddler daughter or son or something like that. And then he gets caught in a sting operation in 2021. Gabriel Usher is his name. Then we caught him in our sting operation in June of this year. And yeah, he had child porn again and got caught by us trying to meet a 12-year-old kid for sex. So, I mean, I would assume he was probably low risk according to the state, because he got barely any time in prison for molesting his own toddler. So, yeah, I mean, I would say whatever, if you're looking at sex offenders and you see like their offender risk, just completely throw that line out of the window. I mean, it's all high risk.
Yeah, I mean, but we're not PhDs, we're not in government, we're just sheeple, so we don't know that yet, right? We don't understand.
Of course, and you got to understand the people sitting in a university classroom and who study are a lot more well versed than people who are actually talking to these people out in the field.
Right.
Please listen to that.
Like Ray Gun is a better breakdancer than most breakdancers because the PhD thing.
Oh, of course. Don't trust this. Trust the science and the studies, guys. Yeah, every time.
Obviously, but we can, if you have time at the end of this parole hearing, we can look it over. It's a statewide collaborative form, meaning all 50 states use this 10-point questionnaire that was developed in the year 2000, before even the smartphone existed. It's a 10-point questionnaire that you fill out, and that creates your risk score. And it will. It's crazy because that's how they have a lower score. That's the system that all 50 states in the U.S. use, and it's nuts.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane, and that's how you can do something to your own toddler and have a lower score. It's that dumb. So, but yeah, let's what do we know?
Utilizing the static 99R, the offender's overall score for such recidivism falls within the
I forgot to say thank you to Nancy Drew for 20 memberships. Thank you, Nancy.
Low moderate range. Mr. Arnold, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I've made a brief statement.
Yeah.
Everyone says that they want to go home. I actually need to go home. I lost my father this past day after Christmas. He was 82 years of age. This leaves my only surviving parent, my mom, who is 81. We have approximately 8 acres in the state of Maine. I live in Auburn, Maine. That's where I'm trying to go back home to, and she is my sponsor. My mom's not really in the best of health. Quite a few years ago, she had her left hip operated on, and right now her right hip is bone on bone, so she's in excruciating pain. I mean, she's able to get around, don't get me wrong, but it's 24/7 pain. So she definitely needs
Mr. Arnold, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead, please.
Mr. Arnold, couple of things is we're live streaming, so we really, maybe not put all of your mother's information out there. Also, we read all where you came from and the loss of your father, and we our condolences. However, what we want to hear from you today is why you are now suitable to be out in the community.
Not why you want parole.
Right, because we want you to want parole. You should want to go home. But why are you suitable for parole today?
Okay, I misunderstood what was asked. I apologize on that.
No problem.
Well,
Give that some thought.
Well, like I said, I did the program that was on the OAP. I learned a lot from it, that no matter where I'm at in the offending, there's always the ability to put the brakes on and go back. That there is no stage, except when you're actually doing the offense, that you haven't gone too far, that there's always the ability to, hey, wait a minute, this isn't right. I need to reevaluate and get out of the spot and get myself back where I need to be. Also, I learned that growing up, we really didn't express our feelings. We held everything in, and that's what I learned. And that's not healthy for me. I need to express myself, get my feelings out. So I definitely do plan on seeking mental health, either through, there's a website, I forget now what it's called.
It's okay.
But I've heard it through the different podcasts that I listen to. BetterHelp, that was the one. I do plan on doing that, seeking help through that. The only medications I take are for my high blood pressure.
Mr. Arnold, again, we're live streaming, and we would like to protect your privacy and the privacy of your loved ones. So how about we ask you some questions, okay? Because we reviewed your file,
extensively. So there's really no reason for us to go over your whole history and all that stuff. We have specific questions related to your offense, okay?
Okay.
Best of luck to you, sir. Ms. Palmieri.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Arnold, as the chair said, we've reviewed your file extensively. So as I said earlier, we did read about the loss of your father, and that your mother does have a large piece of property in Maine, and it would certainly be beneficial for you to be there to assist with that. What I am interested in is I want to clear up a couple of things first of all. So in the offense, it's you in one place say that you didn't know that the victim was years old, and I know that you never went through and it was a sting operation. But let's clear it up. You knew the victim was or was going to be
after a faction, yes.
Okay. So at some point during that conversation, it was clear to you that you would be meeting with a
Correct.
Okay. And your intention was to have a relationship with that mother, a physical relationship.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Because, there are a few different spots where you do say that was your intention. And then there's other areas where you're more vague or you deny that that's the case. So let's just put that all out. Okay. Because as you said, to move forward and to do well, you need to be honest.
Right.
With what you're at. I want to compliment you on the fact that I read the summary from your 32 weeks in treatment, and my note to myself is that you worked hard. It sounds like you really tried to figure out what you need to be doing in the community to remain to not reoffend.
Correct.
The right words. So when I read the evaluation from the long-term program that you did, I guess my first question is, what did you think about that program?
It was definitely well written, well administered. I definitely learned a lot from it. It like you said, like you had said, it allowed me the ability to think what I had done and what areas that, okay, I messed up here, and these are the spots where I could have backed out without realizing that I could have at the time. I went in with the thought, well, I'm offending. It is what it is. That I could not back out at any part of it. And in reality, I was able to back out, no harm, no foul type deal. So that has given me a tool. Like I said, being able to express how I'm feeling, what emotions am I going through at any particular part of my day, to get that out versus keeping that bottled in, that's a resource. Family's a resource, friends a resource.
Wait, pause a minute.
Better help, mental.
Basically, he's just trying to say, if I just had somebody to vent to, I wouldn't have done this. If I just knew that I didn't have to talk to him, I wouldn't have done this. Even with his little sob pity stuff, he's just not taking any actual accountability for it. He's still, he's saying, yeah, I was going to do it, but the reasons behind it, he's still just placing the blame on, there's just nobody there for me to prevent me from doing this while he's a 45-year-old man. Just pathetic. We fund this guy. We fund this guy's existence. It's pathetic.
And how often when you catch someone do they immediately fall back on someone died or someone's sick?
Oh, that's definitely a top 5 excuse. I'm just trying to think, I don't know. Yeah, it's either PTSD or somebody died. Yeah, it's always just they always just take a sick person and just crap on their condition even more.
It's incredible, right? They all have the same thing in common. The same excuses, the same.
Oh yeah, they definitely have I think there's definitely a pedo gene for sure, because there's no way that this guy in Maine would be saying the same thing as a guy in Southern California, when obviously it's way two different parts of the country, two different ways of life, and just they have the same excuses.
It's the same one. And he had nothing but time to think about what he was going to do and what he was going to say at this parole hearing. And like you said, it hasn't been any, taking accountability.
They can't help themselves.
No. And thank you, John, for the 20 memberships, and Edward for the 20, and welcome. Welcome, Break Bread. All right, let's jump in.
Mental health, is a resource to actually activate versus to keep myself bottled in, which is what I have been doing, all my life. Basically, is whatever has been bothering me, I've kept it in. I've not expressed it or gotten it out.
So would you say this is really the first time that you've actually talked about what your preferences are and why that's wrong and how to address them?
Correct.
Okay. So you talked about in group, one of the things that you do towards the end of group was you put together a relapse prevention plan. And you talk about understanding protective factors. What does that mean? What did you identify?
Oh, God, it's been so long.
Well, I would think, I know it may have been, I don't forget. So you finished the program in January.
Correct.
So it's been about 7 months. However, a relapse plan is something that you should be holding on to, something that you're able to refer back to and really fine tune as you go along in life and develop resources. So I need you to think about what you were able to identify when you completed that group as what your protective factors are in terms of your relapse plan.
He didn't comprehend.
Do you understand what your protective factors are?
He's just like I'm some country bumpkin from Maine. I have no idea what the fuck you said.
Of course, she kept all that material. She never handed it back.
Hey, can you believe it? This is his final exam.
I know. He's so genuine.
To the best of my ability for recollection, for me, it would be to stay away from like certain areas, like public restrooms, number one.
Public restrooms.
Okay, I might go to a restaurant or something like that and have to use the facilities. So, to go in, do what I need to do, and to get out as quickly as possible, especially if there is a minor there, or even comes in while I'm doing what I have to do. That's basically one that, again, I could be way off the mark, but to the best of my knowledge and understanding, that would be one of them.
So,
do you want to say anything? Because that's just.
That's a massive Freudian slip. Like if I was in his position, which absolutely would never be, I would say, I'm just not going to go onto dating apps anymore. I might just go to the bar to find a partner if I'm in the mood, or I might just go to the bar. Like, I would say something positive, like, or, I would say something in like the positive rather than like, instead of saying I'm not going to do this, I would say, well, I'm just going to do this instead. Like, I would say, yeah, I'm going to go to it. And obviously, like, I don't think, well, I take it back. I mean, I'm sure in the gay bar, there's somebody for everybody, but, going to if I was him, I would just say, yeah, I'm going to go to the bar. But the first thing that comes to his mind is I should probably not go to public bathrooms, as if that's been on his mind. Isn't like that's a problem for me. Holy shit!
I know. You said a Freudian slip. It's like you can't stay out of the bath. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like, well, as part of my plan, I definitely should not go into elementary schools for sure. Why would you just say that?
It's so ridiculous. And this is his final exam. And keep in mind, while in prison, he took a program, like he was studying. He had passed it. Now he's here, and they ask him a very simple question, like you said.
Yeah.
And it's I'm not going to breathe air or drink water. Like, okay. Thanks, Edward, for the 10, paying $10 to keep him out of bathrooms. And this is why we should all be afraid. If you have kids, don't allow them to go into a public bathroom alone.
Oh yeah.
Think about it in terms of what are high risk situations for you in the community. Maybe we start there. Maybe that's better.
Well, basically everything I do revolves around people, so I wouldn't have any specific areas that would be problematic for me, mainly internet where access to underage individuals being in chat rooms.
All right.
That would be one of my factors right there. So basically staying away from chat rooms would be something that would be beneficial for me, at least for a while anyway, 6 months, a year, or whatever it might be. I just put a number out there. It doesn't have to be that. It could be longer than that, could be shorter than that.
Could be forever.
Good. Okay.
Could be that. Like I said, that I just stuck a number out there just to,
Is it trigger?
basically for me being one of my major triggers is feeling loneliness, not being loved, accepted. That's one of my major ones. Even if I'm in a group of other people, I always feel like
Here, pause it.
I'm not even there.
So we had this bust in 2019. That's why I didn't go so hard on the people that you showed earlier, because we were just retarded like that too. But I got like a 3rd degree assault citation or something like that, or like a Class C misdemeanor where, no jail time, but just pay a fine or something like that. And, it wasn't assault because he hit the camera first, but they just charged me with it without even seeing the evidence, whatever. But I just took like a deferred adjudication where I just had to take a class on like anger management or something online. And honestly, like, it's basically where they like read something out loud for you on the screen, then you just press next and you select the most obvious thing. And I found a little glitch where I could just skip a bunch of pages at once, because they didn't let you skip the pages. They like the computer read it out loud, but I found a glitch to skip all these pages at once because the questions were just so obvious. It's like, all right, well, if you're mad at somebody, should you count to 10 or should you hit him with a frying pan? And obviously, I don't need like a whole like five-page lecture on to not hit somebody with a frying pan. I was like, all right, just count to 10. But this guy is so dumb. Like, why would he insinuate? Like, why not just say, stay off the chat rooms forever? Like, what's making him say or less, or it could be less than 6 months? Like, there's no reason for him to say that. It would be like me choosing, like, well, if they really pissed me off, I'd hit him with the pan. Obviously, you don't pick that in this situation, you retard.
And so many of the parole hearings, there's like different classes. There's a small few that are so manipulative and clever. They know exactly what to say. But there's a larger group that is just fits into this bucket.
Can't help themselves.
No,
so bad.
No, it really is.
As messed up as this is, at least it's comedy. Got to find the bright side of everything.
Right, there is a bright side of everything. Talking about I was going through YouTube. I saw one incident where someone like you got up and confronted someone on a stage, and this guy came up and yelled at you and then attacked you. And
yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, go attack a college offensive lineman. That's a great idea.
Right. Hey, and you know what? It was a great thing because that video went viral, and it was hilarious. Good for him.
And then you had to take a couple programs, but what the hell? They're glitches for a reason. All right.
But in reality, I am there. Just not. That's one of my major downfalls that I've always felt.
You do mention that those have been identified as some of your internal risk factors that you identified through group.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
So the summary that we have from your treatment, where you talk about what your internal risk factors are, what you just said, and lonely, depressed. And I'm going to move it along by saying that when you talk about looking into mental health on release, that those are areas that you'll focus in on.
Correct.
Okay. You talked about having your mother as support in the community, and she has agreed to be your sponsor. What other supports do you have in the community, or what have you thought about in terms of developing some independent supports?
Well, I also have other family members, several aunts and uncles and cousins that are supportive as well. I want to get back to work. I've even thought of starting my own business up. So, keeping myself active work-wise will definitely also be beneficial for not only myself, but also the community. And to, if I can keep my mind busy,
wait.
I'm not going to
keeping myself active work-wise when he's in jail for meeting a kid while he was on the job. What a fucking retard.
Yeah, doing his stopping on his truck route.
Right. Thank you for the 10, Ashley. We appreciate it so much. And my email is ppoachers3@gmail.com, ppoachers3@gmail.com if you want to email me, Ashley.
Yeah, anything else you wanna about your
Oh no, that was just she had like a
No, I saw, but now's a good time to plug everything else also.
Oh yeah. Well, guys, for those who don't know who we are, I'm not PP Southeast Texas. My lookalike runs that channel, who talks the exact same way as I do and is the same exact build and everything. Wink, wink, because we may or may not have been in trouble with YouTube before, so I'm just not going to say it's my channel. But that's where we post these that's where my lookalike posts these catch videos on, PP Southeast Texas. So the people I was mentioning earlier, like Mark Morgan and Gabriel Usher, those two people are both posted on PP Southeast Texas. If you just type in PP Southeast Texas, Evanston, Iowa, or PP Southeast Texas, Dubuque, Iowa, you can see those two catches where these were two sex offenders who the system gave a pass to, and they just went to go offend again, and we caught him and put him back in jail. So check it out, PP Southeast Texas.
Yeah, it's your twin brother or something.
Yeah. No, he's really awesome.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and also the locals thing, right? You got that.
Yeah, I mean, he's so nice that I even came in his place to go be on the stream you invited him to. So
nice. That is a nice guy. Thank you, Kat, again for another 20 memberships. Kat's on fire.
Go off the path.
I made a note also that you said when we talk about things that you need to be aware of with yourself. And one of them is that you get along easier with teens and young adults. How do you plan to address that in the community?
Always make sure that I'm not one-on-one or isolated with a teen or a young adult. If I find myself that I'm going to be in that type of a situation, just remove myself from the equation in however way I need to do so.
You were unable to take the Voices program, which, is a good co-program for offender treatment. And the Voices program would have talked about victims and the victimization of individuals in these types of cases and the ripple effect. What do you think the harm is to the community and for these types of offenses?
Without taking the program, my take on it would be that they would feel like they did something wrong, that they're not worthy of a person. They would have a hard time establishing healthy relationships down the road. As far as the community, there'd be someone that would be, someone in my position would be preying on the younger generation, which may or may not be accurate, depending on the individual. With myself, I want to prove the community wrong, that I am not a predator, that I just want to coexist with the community, be of a value to the community as an individual, and even be like an entrepreneur type deal, starting a business to have people come in and work.
Right. Well, we're going to circle back because you're getting off course a little bit here. When we talk about victims, it's like you said, you were part of a sting operation, but had you been able to follow through, the harm to the victim in these types of cases is catastrophic. You talk about feelings of loneliness and depression. Those are some of those feelings of the victim, and trust. And it becomes, and you were part of a sting operation for a community that is fearful. It creates fear in the community also. All right, so you want to release to go to live with your mother in Maine. And it looks like you would not go back to your prior employment of driving a truck.
Correct.
Do you see that as a high risk?
Being over the road, yes.
And your way of managing that is how? But talk to me about you. I know you have all this property up in Maine, but what would you do to support yourself?
Well, currently I work as a flagger directing traffic through road construction. Granted, it's during construction season. As far as the off season, I'm not exactly sure that I would have to work on.
I'll never look at flaggers the same after seeing this parole hearing.
I know, what a bunch of flaggots, man. Unbelievable.
But I do plan on, well, at least researching how to start my own business to do pretty much the same thing that I'm currently doing now as a flagger / security enforcement officer. So that would be, establishing more jobs for the community to help support myself. And like I said, working as a flagger right now, that would be supporting myself. And in the meantime, in the off season, if I can't find, I don't know what is planned for me with the company I work for the off season. I don't know if it would be layoff or what. That I would have to find out once I get back. But I do plan on finding employment for the off season, provided they don't have something for me.
Sounds good. Okay, so I did read somewhere that you were talking about being a flagger. I'm just about done with my questions, but I did want to ask you one last thing. So you had a conviction in 2006 in Maine for having sexually explicit materials, and you had 1 year of probation for that.
Oh, so he
Did
was
you do any treatment while you were on probation?
Yeah, isn't that interesting that comes out?
Wow. So was he an RSO? Probably not. He probably wasn't an RSO if they gave him that light of a sentence.
Yeah, probably not.
God damn, dude. So you could tell by the answers he gave, like you could tell by the answers he gave, like, oh, I'd have to avoid public bathrooms, and then basically, him just kind of saying, well, 18 during the catch and all this, and well, I'll just be friends with 15-year-olds. You could tell, like, this guy, I just have a feeling that it's more, because there are a few people that get caught when the age is like kind of in the higher teens, that it's probably their first time doing it. And, it doesn't make it right, obviously, but there's a lot of first timers on the dating apps that get, stung. But this guy for sure, dude, I just had a feeling that he has like a attraction to kids. Like, and I'd say, when I say that, I mean more so kids than adults. You know what I'm saying? Yep.
I agree. I always think, if there's CP on their devices, it sends a whole different signal. They're a different type of predator.
Definitely.
And he checks that box.
Yes, it was similar to the program that I had here, but not as in depth. The program here in this state is by far superior.
So if you've had some treatment in the field, in the area of being a sexual predator, why haven't you been able to address that going forward? You must have talked about what your triggers are, and that even if it was a short bit of treatment, why do you think that you didn't get anything from that, or you relapsed?
Mr. Arnold, wave your arm so the light will come back on, please.
Okay. So, I was trying to do that earlier. Sorry about that. To get back to the question there, I think I just forgot, the different steps that I could have taken. It was a bad judgment. Granted, I regret doing what I did wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Yeah.
How long was that program that you did? Was it the length of your probation period?
I honestly don't remember. If it wasn't the full amount of my probation, it was pretty close to.
Was it group or individual?
It was group.
And whether or not you get parole today or not, you will be required to participate in treatment. And in Connecticut, you're on the registry for 10 years, sex registry. I'm going to assume that there's probably something along the same lines required for the state of Maine, if that's where you are allowed to return to. Okay. All right, Mr. Arnold, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Palmieri. So, Mr. Arnold, what does your mother know about your offense?
She knows pretty much everything.
No, your phone's on. His phone's on. Call your mom. Call your mom. And tell her which one you're in.
Oh, great.
Tell me pretty much everything.
Nice
like
touch,
what?
Nice touch.
That I was at trying to meet up with a 50-year-old to have sexual.
Okay. So explain to me why, when you were in group, you found it difficult to share, and that you like sought out the teacher to speak to them after or before class started.
I've always had a hard time expressing myself in a group setting. I've always found it easier and more comfortable for a one-on-one situation.
I will say, even though his charges are kind of laid out for the world to see, I'm sure, and obviously we're streaming his parole thing. I'm not going to say rarely, I don't know, but there are absolutely instances where the parents do not know the full extent of what happened because they refuse to look at what the state puts out. They're, of course, going to listen to their own kid. We had a guy in 2022, John Smithers in Kentucky, and it was very short cash. He was actually an attempted murderer, and he was going after our 11-year-old decoy. I think he was full on wanting to kill this assumed girl. Like, he would hit us up at night saying, I'm in my mask right now, let me come through. And he got let out on parole, previously, because he actually stabbed an 11-year-old girl. Oh, shit, I don't know how old she was, 11 or something like that. Like, just around that age. He broke into her house and stabbed her, like, I think a ton of times, and didn't end up killing her. And, I talked to his parents, when I tried to make contact with him, because, we made contact with him. He threatens his gun. We just obviously dip out. So then I go to his parents' house and I talk to them. And his parents were very nice people. Like, they were welcoming. They let us in the home, very non-threatening. But, they were like, well, yeah, that story with, him stabbing that little girl, he didn't do it hard. He didn't really mean anything by it. And, his parents were like not mad at us for telling them what happened with the decoy, but they just were in complete denial that this guy was an attempted murderer. Like, they were basically like, when they were like, oh, it was like a mostly peaceful stabbing pretty much. And then, turns out a few months later, John Smithers goes ahead and he shoots a police officer in the neck, almost kills him. So, yeah, I would highly doubt this guy's mom knows the full extent of what he did. She probably thinks he was set up, or probably thinks that, he just didn't mean anything by it. And that's a very common thing with these parents, even of sex offenders.
Oh, 100%. It's predictable in the parole hearings that we watch for the sex offenders. Every state's different, but Louisiana, as an example, would allow 3 supporters to speak at each parole hearing, and it is on repeat. I'm telling you, they're talking about butterflies, fried pickles, and turtles every time.
Yeah.
Rainbows, unicorns. They're the best person in the world. And then right after they're done, the warden would read out all the sex offenses that person has in prison.
Oh my God, dude! It's like that. It's like that recent example where Missouri put that guy to death a few days ago, Marcellus Williams, and all these people were like, he stabbed a lady 43 times and killed her. But they're like, oh my God! But did you see this poem that he wrote though? Don't put him to death. Oh God, what's wrong with these people? It's really crazy. I think society as a whole simps for predators and simps for the perpetrators and doesn't simp enough for the victims, sadly.
Oh, people, they write comments. They say, Mandoo, you're soulless. You have no empathy. My response is,
Jesus Christ.
I have empathy for the victims. Get up there. The survivors will get up at the parole hearing and say, my life has been destroyed, blah, 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 blah. But you have people that turn that off.
Well, yeah, and sometimes, people use the word like acceptance, people use the word tolerance, and people use the word forgiveness as always a good thing. Those are not necessarily good things, because it depends what you accept, it depends what you tolerate, and depends who you forgive. And, we're just so brainwashed as a society to think that, these words always mean something good. So if you have no acceptance, you're a bad person. No, we should absolutely not accept people like this. So, yeah, it's really brainwashed because they always look at the one side, but they don't look at the what these people have caused. So.
Spot on, and we're preaching to the choir, which is
True.
I think our audience, but
Right.
But I don't see how we lose that argument. And thank you, John. Big shout out, 50 memberships.
Damn, nice.
Yeah.
And thank you, Mason Power, for the 20. Keep it up. Come back to Illinois. Need you to clean up Kankakee. I haven't been there yet. Thanks for what you do, man. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for making it possible.
Let's go.
Okay, but you do understand that you will probably have to participate in groups going forward?
Yes.
And, I'm getting a feeling that you're embarrassed by your charges, which I completely understand. But the only way to really combat this issue is being open and honest. And you'll have to have that conversation going forward, and it's going to be uncomfortable with several people because you're required to be on the sex offender registry for 10 years and you have 10 years of probation to follow your sentence. So it's really important that you're open and honest. So I say all that to ask you, when did you learn that this person was 15?
Well, it was the same day conversation, so it was probably halfway through the conversation would be my recollection.
Okay. And after, were you talking about before or after you learned that the person?
I believe it was a combination of both.
Okay. And so when you learned that he was 15, did you ask him if you guys could have, and that if he was okay with it?
I believe so. Like I said, I really don't remember the exact.
I tell him, I'm 15, turning 16 in July. Are you a police officer? No. Are you? No. Cool. Send me a thing. Bro.
I'm sure you do remember because I pulled up your article. Well, there's several articles on the internet, and the second the person text you and said, "Hello, handsome," and you replied. I don't know what the conversation was, but then the next sentence was, "I'm 15," and you still went on to have ask for sex, and the issue is, Mr. Arnold, that just like I could type your name in the computer and pull up your information, everyone will be able to do the same thing. And you have to try to, again, this is a practice of open and honest discussion. It is what it is. You can't change it. The records are here, and it's important that you are honest. Listen, you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. But if you really are true about wanting to address these behaviors, then you really have to at first accept the fact that this is what you did, And you made a statement when you were talking with my colleague about you could back out of something, like when you were in the middle of this whole thing, that you could have you thought you couldn't back out, that you were so versed in it, I guess, immersed in it, I guess, that you couldn't back out. What made you think that?
It was just, I really can't explain it. It was just a feeling that I had at the time that I couldn't, there was no backing out of what I did, that, I had to keep going, even though I don't really remember now.
Well, I would say that it's something that you wanted. You knew that you could have backed out. The minute that he said he was 15, you could have said, yeah, you're not supposed to be in here, and delete. Could have said that, but that's not what you did. And you know the difference between right and wrong. And you knew that what you were doing was wrong because you had already been convicted for something similar in another state. And yet you were so excited, I would say, about the potential of what could happen, that you set aside all your morals, you know, and it's unfortunate because the only thing I can think about is, what if it would have been a child? And what if a child had shown up there? You know, you wouldn't have played Monopoly. You wouldn't have, even though that's what you say, you would play games. And that's difficult for me to move past. All right, Ms. Turner.
I only have one question for Mr. Arnold. So in 2006, when you were convicted for the child pornography possession in Maine, I think you were about 31 at the time. What consequences, what price did you pay for that behavior, that crime?
Well, at that time, I was heavily involved in the Boy Scout program.
Oh my God.
I actually made, I grew up in the Scout.
Right?
Oh, geez, man. He just volunteering all this information to them they probably didn't even know.
No. I mean, whose heart just dropped when you hear that?
Yeah, I know, right? Dude, I mean, I think this guy would be dumb enough to say, guys, yes, I messed up by trying to meet this little kid, but you can trust me, though. I'm not going to do it again. I'm a Boy Scout. I have the Scout's honor, okay? Just like...
Dude, it's the perfect cliche. I mean, it's something that it's remarkable. I mean, you probably hear that all the time too, right? Where people talk about it. I just couldn't stop. I don't know why I couldn't stop. I knew it was a sting, but I couldn't stop.
Yeah, they're just. I mean, he should have known from the very first message of just somebody calling him handsome for the first time that it was probably fake. And like, look, I understand. Like, you know, there's a common misconception that ugly men or ugly predators won't meet a kid off the internet and actually do anything to them, which that's totally untrue, because a lot of these people you see getting caught, you know, running off with these minors are ugly as shit. Like, the minors get manipulated into just kind of following along. But I will say it is probably a super, super, super rare occurrence that a minor would reach out to this guy first and say, "Hey, handsome." I mean, there's no way that's actually happening. What an idiot.
That should have been a red flag, and it could be these guys weren't catching many fish in general, but
yeah, they're probably scrolling and they're like, I'm gonna do some stereotyping here.
Yeah, it's incredible. There's probably we're not going to go through the whole stream because I do commentary at the end. There's probably 10 minutes left when we get to the end of the parole hearing. Kat, thank you for the memberships. I'm loving the love you guys are showing. We have over 1,000 in the stream with both our channels combined here.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of love.
Scouting program, so I had to leave that, and that was a major blow for me because I learned so much, you know, in the BSA, that now that I could not give back to the program that the program had given to me, I had to leave that. So that was a major blow for me, and that was one of the major ones that I had to give up. The other one was not having a computer at the home, at least while I was on probation anyway. I lost a lot of friends. Even a family member turned their back towards me.
Just the one?
Just the one family member, yeah.
You should count yourself lucky.
Oh, believe me, I do.
So aside from being ostracized from that one group, nothing more? No social consequences?
Not that I can recollect.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Arnold, give us a few minutes to talk about your case. We'll give you our decision, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Ms. O'Mary?
So what they're going to do, they're going to talk completely openly, and then they're going to make their decision on the spot. So do you think that they're going to grant?
Yeah, I do. And, I'm not saying that based on their answers to them, their questions. I'm just saying that because logically, I don't think we'd be showing this parole hearing on a stream talking about the broken justice system if he did not get granted parole. So that's my conclusion there.
Well, you're using a little bit of math, a little bit of logic.
Yeah. But pretend I was just watching this on your channel and I had no idea. I would actually, my guess would be they're not going to grant it to him, but obviously I know they are.
And in Connecticut, it's actually hit and miss. They can beat up a pred really hard. I mean, they can go down and rip them a new one and then talk themselves into granting. They have their own. None of it really makes sense. So,
oh God,
yeah, I can never get like because this feels so random. I often don't know the answer. Yeah. But all of you watching, I would say put a 1 if you think they're going to grant. Put a 2 if you think no.
So, Mr. Arnold, he admits what he did, takes responsibility, I guess. He's done the long-term sex offender treatment program. I think the summary of the treatment presents him in a much better view than Mr. Arnold was able to do for himself, to tell you the truth. But I do get from reading the summary that he did a lot of work on himself and identified a lot of his triggers in his wrist are. He has support in the community for his mother. I think he's got a reasonable release plan that will include treatment. Some that'll be mandated, and other that appears to want to seek on his own. Is the 2 disciplinary reports for refusing housing and the 1 probation that he completed back in 2006 for having for not child pornography. At this point, I would be willing to grant Mr. Arnold parole. It's about 13 months till he starts that 10-year period of probation.
Thank you, Ms. Palmieri. Ms. Turner?
Certainly the unpleasant nature of this offender's behavior and his willingness to participate in the victimization concerning. I think it'll probably be closer to maybe a year by the time Interstate manages transferring his parole. And I'd rather have him go out to a higher level of supervision, handling this transition, and holding him accountable with the conditions that we're going to put in place, than to have him go out and be sentenced to probation here in Connecticut, where he may not, in fact, have any supports or structure.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. So unlike the prior case that we just had, I have primarily all aggravating factors in this case. So I will not be able to support his request for discretionary parole, but I do understand why the 2 of you would he has taken the appropriate programs, and the increased level of supervision would provide public safety. So the conditions that I did have nonetheless were problem sex behavior treatment, no contact with minors, enhanced monitoring, porn restriction. Do we want to do that?
I did.
Okay.
Because of our conviction.
Yep.
And some admission.
Yep. And the halfway house because he wants to go to Maine. Anything else?
I think mental health evaluation treatment. I know he's 1 and I know he's supposed to get it on his own, but it seems to me that it would be beneficial.
Okay. Is there anything else?
No.
Okay. I move that Sean Arnold 436-771 be granted of discretionary parole on or after today's date, July 8th, 2024, with the following conditions. In addition to the standard parole condition, you are to have no contact with minors. You'll participate in problem sexual behavior treatment in the community. You'll also receive a mental health evaluation and treatment as deemed necessary. You will have enhanced monitoring on your devices, and also there's a restriction for pornography as a condition. You ask to be released to Maine, so it takes a little time for that. So we're going to put the halfway house condition on, and you'll be paroled to Maine. Did I say everything, ladies? Yes. Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. No, I'm sorry. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. All opposed? Aye. All right. So, Mr. Arnold, this is the majority decision. You'll receive all of this in writing. We wish you the best of luck, sir.
Okay, so just confirming I have been approved.
You are by a majority decision. Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Wow. So let's unpack.
Well, just think like all the shit they name that he has to go through and do. Just think about how much of a drain on the taxpayers that is too. Like besides him just being a threat to kids, those same people's kids he's a threat to, he's also extorting money out of them by just being a total loser. And, you know, it's just these people, man. I mean, they just, God, I just have so many words to them. But since you don't have a Rumble channel, I can't say them because we're on YouTube.
Right. Well, what is your Rumble channel?
Great transition. It's Predator Poachers on Rumble, PREDATOR space POACHERS. It's free to sub on Rumble, and we can say things to pedos they deserve on there.
There's something that I think freedom of speech on
that whole crazy stuff.
You know, it's interesting. I did make my first Rumble channel and video like last week because I made this parole hearing, and the state of a large news agency in the state of Utah copyright struck the parole hearing, which, by the way, I recorded from the source. I didn't even scrape it from their channel, nothing.
Right.
It's illegal. You can't copyright a public meeting.
Damn.
Yeah, the state of Louisiana copy struck me something like 73 times when I first started.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So is this like not your this is not like you've been through a few channels, I guess, or you're looking like guys.
This is my second channel. I have the primary channel. Right. I opened up this one as a backup when I was struck 73 times. I could not believe it, but we won all 73.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Over the state of Louisiana. When we won, it was from the Attorney General. I'm like, what is he doing personally striking a YouTube account?
Yeah. What is that? Yeah, the same state that's like, yeah, we're going to chemically castrate these sex offenders is also the one that doesn't want them to be exposed. Funny how that works.
Well, there was a parole hearing that was very controversial. I picked it up. A news agency picked it up from me, and there's a lot of they were not happy. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. But since then, I don't know if it's to their credit or to whatnot. But anyways, I didn't have the stomach to fight with Utah on this one, so I said, you know what, I'm not going to upload it. I'll just put it on Rumble.
Yeah,
but I haven't actually told anyone about it and. Started using it yet. Yeah.
Well, yeah, link me your Rumble channel. Definitely plug it on locals or something like that so people can go sub.
Yeah, I'll have to. Yeah, I should take you up on that. And so what did you? Well, we have Sir Richard here. You should get a list of Alex Catch. So Sir Richard's the man behind the scene. I've never met him or heard his voice, but he does like all of my research. Let me show you this. You see my my screen? Oh, actually, here. Let me add it to the. This is the spreadsheets that Sir Richard. These are the spreadsheets that Sir Richard, who's the group who puts them all together. So, like, here's an example. Just these rows. These are all people who are caught in sting operations.
Wow.
Yeah, and then there's all the notes on it, and this is just one tab. So each tab, like Connecticut, these are all parole hearings just for Q1. This is like Iowa, Illinois. So he's my Utah. Every line is a parole hearing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like we could in theory, if there's nothing wrong with it, keep tabs on all of your catches.
Yeah, I'd say Golly, we kind of have a guy who's similar who find because we do so many of these catches. Like, I mean, I just found out about a conviction today that we're going to post on locals here soon. But one of our guys we caught in 2023 got sentenced to 8 years in prison pretty recently for the child porn we caught him with. And, we have a guy, Adam, in Ohio. He does the same, similar thing for us. I wouldn't say he has a spreadsheet, but he finds people that I totally forgot about. So big shout out to him. Adam and Richard need to have a nerd off for sure to see who's the bigger geek. But they're both very awesome, and I'm sure we appreciate them both. But where's it going with that? Yeah, I would say a lot of our catches. We're still pretty new to catching pedos. It's only been 5 years, so I would say a lot of our catches probably aren't even up for parole yet. Because if we've only started racking up arrests like in late 2021, 2022, there's probably a few, but. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I guess we can just always check.
Yeah, it does depend on, I guess, the state and how fast they go through the system. But we have seen people who are up for parole within a year of at least their conviction date. But yeah, like you said, it could be a while with the arrests. I don't know how much time you have left. If you wanted to look at the Static 99, just chat or call it a night. I'll leave that to you.
I do want to see the questionnaire, but I do got to go soon. But I do want to see the questionnaire before we do.
It's gonna blow your mind because I don't know what one thing all 50 states can agree on, but this is something that all 50 states in the United States agree on. It's a collaborative system that, believe it or not, was created 7 years before the iPhone was, and is still being used today to classify offenders as low, medium, or high risk. Let's go. This, we're just sheeple. What do we know? Yep. But let's go pull it up. Where are we? Here we go. So it's a 10-point questionnaire. It's one page. And then at the conclusion of it, it creates your risk. Now, the lowest score you can have is a -3. Mm-hmm. If you have a 1, you're a low. So now let's just go through the questionnaire by any one of your catches with question 1 down to 10, and you'll see how crazy this is.
Let's see. Let's take trying to think. I don't know, chat. Let's let the chat vote on this. Who do y'all think we should do for a questionnaire?
Yeah, that's a good one. And if you pick someone who's above the age of 60, by the way, they start off with -3 points, because the whole world knows that if you are 60 years old, you are not a risk of offending.
Right. Exactly.
That's clearly the point. And thank you, Edward, for the 20. Really appreciate you.
The dude you caught 3 times, David Morris. Let's do David Morris.
David Morris.
Don't know. We caught David Morris 3 times. So in 3 times in 3 different states, mind you. So we first caught him. He lives in Waukegan, Illinois, and he traveled to Lake County, Indiana, kind of right on that border of Illinois and Indiana. He met up with our 11-year-old decoy to go have sex with her. He brought a bag of pizza, toys. His phone had pizza too on it, but a different kind, and tons of child porn on his phone. He gets arrested but let go that 2 days later. I don't think they ever formally pressed charges on him, which is ridiculous because he had child porn on him. But regardless, he gets sent home. His phone gets confiscated. He gets a new one. He messages our same decoy account. And mind you, he also admitted to real life victims too. He messages our same decoy account, and we're like, all right. He didn't get charged in Lake County. So we said we moved to a place that we know would charge. So we moved to University City, Missouri in St. Louis County. And he took the train 5 hours down to St. Louis, meets our decoy, admits to child porn again. He gets child porn on his new phone. He does get arrested for child pornography. And he bails out, but he's on an ankle monitor in Waukegan at home, under supervised pretrial release. And then he gets on Facebook again, messages another one of our decoys, and then invites her over to the house. he's like he can't go on the street, so he's at the edge of his lawn saying, "No, you have to come here, And then we get him again, and he admits to wanting to have sex again with the decoy. And I'm not sure if he's been charged with that yet. I think only St. Louis County has done anything about him, but he's currently working on a plea deal. So let's do so. And he was God dang, how old was he? I think 60. Yeah, it's just. He was 60 years old, if not more. I think more than 60, but something in the 60s. So
he's smart. He has an ankle monitor, so he can't go anywhere. But hey, he can invite three catches. I think I saw it. I have to have seen him. It's just crazy. Three.
In 3 months too, in 3 different states.
If you can imagine how many victims he has.
Oh yeah.
So we can, I'll take a pen and keep track, and all of y'all in the chat, if you can make sure we're doing this right too. So if he's older than 60, he's starting off -3 points. That's a great place to be. Right.
He's looking strong. He scored the early touchdown. He's setting the tone early,
Exactly. He has to gain 5 points to not be a low risk score, is what it is.
Right. He's in really good shape. I mean, the Vegas odds have him at a 90% chance to get a low score, so bet on it.
That's what it is. So question 2, can you believe it? This is actually what they ask. Have you ever lived with a lover for at least 2 years?
Well, I mean, from him and his sister's relationship, I would say yes, but no, he actually has. So he gets a 0 added to it.
He gets a 0, and many of them are married. They're married even to gain access to their victims.
Oh, yeah.
So he has. So has he? Is it like a wife or a girlfriend?
He's divorced. He was divorced. So
there definitely has a 0. Now, any non-sexual violent convictions?
Index non-sexual violent. No, he had no criminal record.
Criminal record. So he's up to question 3, and he's -3 points still.
What's index non-sexual violence? Any convictions required?
I actually don't know what the index stands for. Anyone in the chat knows?
Well, I mean, either way, he had no criminal record, so it's still
Right.
0.
And you'll see that there's so much redundancy in that. It's like as if they needed to come up with 10 questions and just with redundancy. So watch. 4, prior non-sexual violent convictions.
No.
So then 5, prior sex offenses.
None.
Charges, none. Convictions, none. So the charges, and look at how they do it: 1 to 2, 3 to 5, and 6+ charges. So if he had 1 to 2 previous charges, he'd have 1 point. So he'd be, but had he had charges?
Oh, you know what? Since we did catch him, I guess yes. So we would add a 1 for him. So he's at -2 right now.
So he's at -2.
Yeah.
So -2, and we're now at question 6. Prior sentencing dates, excluding the index. Again, I'm not
obviously
sure
through the less.
So index, someone just wrote index. Sometimes it is first or original. I'm not sure.
Either way.
Okay, so he is 0 or 3 or less, or 4 or more.
I mean, yeah, it'd have to be 3 or less.
3 or less. What a dumb! Isn't that even just ridiculous? 3 or less. Like,
yeah.
Any convictions for non-contact sex offenses?
Oh my God, no.
And again, it's redundant.
Any unrelated victims? I mean, are they just saying? Yeah, I mean, I guess legal. They mean legally. So legally, he had no victims, but obviously he confessed to it. But there's no way of knowing who they were.
Right.
So,
and look how they even picked that as a question, unrelated. So if it was related, it wouldn't fall in the bucket of even this questionnaire.
It's retarded.
Why are they saying unrelated? I don't know. Any stranger victims?
No, I mean, he had he technically got arrested for CP only, so no.
And then look at this, because this makes no sense, right? The final question: any male victims?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you know what the case could be with that? Maybe because if that was made in 2000, you got to think maybe they were thinking about like Dahmer and Gacy and all that stuff as like super violent ones. So maybe that's why they thought it that way. But still, that makes no sense.
Right. Yeah, this was done in 2000. The iPhone has yet to be invented. The Apple phone, I think, is in 2006. It's like 6 years away. And they still use the same questionnaire. All 50 states use it. And yeah, there's no mention of CP because they didn't even know what that was really.
Right.
This is it. So your person who you caught 3 times, who was a clear criminal, would actually have scored a -2. -2.
It's nuts. It's nuts. Like there's no. It's nuts that there's no like age ranges on there. Like, because some people are on the registry for something for they're like a freshman in college and it's like a sophomore in high school. I'm not saying that's all right, but it's obviously different than, someone diddling their own infant kid. So, I mean, I don't know how that's not taken into consideration either. Like, it's very, very odd.
And all 50 states.
Yeah.
Use this. And look at this. We know this data is not true. If you score a -3, they are saying that your chance to recidivate after 5 years is 0.72%.
That doesn't. Oh my God.
I mean, what in any category of anything, how is it possible that someone over 5 years won't fall back to an old habit at a 98% success rate? It's just insane.
Let's do let's do one of the sex offenders that we caught. Let's do Mark Morgan in Iowa, who is 71 years old. So he started with a -3.
Yeah, so -3. And Sir Richard just commented. He said this is updated in 2012. Richard, is this form updated as of 2012? Is that what you're saying? Because how could they still not have any computers? All right, so he starts at -3. Question 2.
Yeah, he had a wife. Yep,
he had a wife, so he's at 0.
Index non-sexual violence. But is this prior to? Is this so when they asked is this prior to getting caught, or is this like?
This is after they're caught and they're being assessed for their eligibility to be released. So they're assessing their risk score.
So there would be a conviction then, right?
So, all right, that's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, well, no. I mean, it would have to be prior than the one, because obviously there is a conviction if they're taking this thing. So yeah, I think it would be a prior one.
Right. It has to be talking about prior. Otherwise,
so no and no. No and no.
No and no.
Well, actually, well, I guess when we caught him, yeah, he did. Yeah, I guess he did have a prior. So it would be. So he's at -1 right now with the 2 priors.
Okay, -1. He had 2 prior convictions.
Well, yeah, index and prior. So yeah, it would be -1 because he had.
Okay.
And then 1 conviction, so he'd be at 0 right now.
So he's at 0. So he's still a low risk.
3 or less, so 0 still. Any convictions for non-contact sex offenses? Oh, they're talking about that. That's a child porn they're talking about. I see it now.
Okay.
Yeah. Or like indecent exposure or something like that. But no, that would be 0. It's 0.
It's 0. Then they say unrelated. I still am not understanding this.
That's 1.
He has 1 unrelated
and
victim.
then.
But why, if it's related, do you benefit?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the person that wrote this must be from Alabama or something. I don't know.
Okay, so he's got a 1, so that puts him at a.
Yep, and the victim was not a stranger.
So it's 0, and
it was and he raped a 9-year-old female. So the guy who raped a 9-year-old female that we caught with child pornography and trying to solicit an assumed 11-year-old a few months after he got out of prison is a low risk. Nice.
You can't make it up.
It's fucking crazy.
Like, this is something like I feel like the world is sleeping on. That 50 states cannot agree on anything, period.
Right.
But they all agree on using this piece of crap.
Yeah, it is so cliche to say, oh, we're run by a bunch of pedophiles, but I mean, dude, it's not so cliche when you have shit like this.
It's not, because you can't make sense of it. And you just want to yell off the rooftops. How is it possible? These are the people that are protecting their one job is to protect our communities.
Yeah, you just can't put faith in your fellow man, as much as you want to trust him. You still gotta, it's the way I look at it is the state's not going to save you. I'm not going to save your kids, despite how many pedos we catch. Mandoo's not going to save your kid, no matter how many sex offenders he exposes. In the end, it's up to you and to equip your kid well to, know the situations that are happening. And yeah, because the state sure as fuck isn't protecting anything,
No.
at least not adequately enough.
No, they're not. It's once it's like the veil is lifted from our eyes and we see it, you kind of wish you hadn't,
Right.
But how do you you're seeing this all? Are you tired? Do you ever get tired?
I don't believe in using the word tired. I say the word worn out, or the phrase worn out. But sometimes I get worn out. But I mean, luckily I have fun interviewing these people because I like the mental chess game that's played. So I can keep going with this. But seeing how many there are and seeing the light sentences they consistently get, yeah, that's definitely is pretty demoralizing. But you know, we're making a better difference than we're doing if we didn't do any of it. So that's what keeps us going.
And what about, to be frank, I worry for you. I can imagine your mother worries for you. You're playing a little bit of a Russian roulette. It is a numbers game. You have had people pull weapons on you recently. What are you going to do about that?
Well, luckily we've been able to either run or de-escalate, but the team we are firm believers in the Second Amendment. So, I mean, we, if it really came to that, Pablo's, I think, a pretty good shot. So,
well, I guess that's just, but God, that's going to be a lot of drama.
Yeah, I'm glad it hasn't come to that, and I hope it never does. Truly.
Yeah. Well, I hope so too. I do. I think so much of us here love you and are rooting for you. And I couldn't believe when I first saw how old you were. I was just blown away. You're an old soul, and you're doing God's work, sir.
Trying to, but yeah. I appreciate you making this happen for us. And people that are following on my lookalike the PP Southeast Texas channel that he so graciously let me stream on. Make sure you follow Mandoo's channel. This one, well, just type in Mandoo Parole, and then his channels will pop up. Sub to both of them. Takes 2 seconds to do it. Obviously free, and it helps him continue to do what he does. And he's exposing predators, and he's exposing the issues that we have now. Don't just think that, oh, well, Alex and Mandoo are just doing what needs to be done. Because, yeah, sure, we're playing a part in it, but it takes each and every single one of us to play a part, to make shit happen. So, pay attention to who's running for district attorney. Fuck federal politics, fuck Trump, fuck Harris, fuck them both. But pay attention to who's running in your local elections, because that shit matters, okay? Vote for the correct one and get involved, too. Nothing's stopping you from going to city council, nothing stopping you from knocking on doors and all that stuff. So don't just sideline sit and hope that we do the job, because I guarantee you we're not going to be doing enough. It takes all of us. So that's what I'll say.
I think that's great to sign off with that. Words of wisdom. And
yes.
Thank you, sir. And just as long as you never offer me fried pickles, that's my nightmare. I never want to hear those words come out of your mouth to me.
Well, I'll put you on the spot here. Are you going to come on a cast when we're in your area of the country?
Well, I'm also a Second Amendment guy. As long as I can do that, maybe I'll invest in a bulletproof vest. I might do that. Yeah, I'll take you up on it.
You have a permit in your communist state, don't you?
Oh yeah, I got a few permits.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. If you guys want to follow us, just follow the channel PP Southeast Texas on YouTube. I guarantee you're going to like what's on there. I can't say who runs the channel, but PP Southeast Texas on YouTube. Go check it out, guys. A lot of pedos getting caught there.
Thank you, and over and out. Peace.